Hey guys, this is Lara with Usborne Books and More, and I'm going to take a few minutes to share some of our vocabulary builder books with you. These are books that are really great for kids who are learning English for the first time, ESL students, for adults who are learning English for the first time, or for children who are building their vocabularies, either toddlers who are just learning to talk or older students who might be behind a little bit in vocabulary, speaking and reading in some cases. What I'm going to show you today are not even close to all of our vocabulary books or all of the types of vocabulary books. These are just ones that I personally own, and there are still another 5 or 6 different series that I can think of that fit this category. So this is just a few of them. And the first one I'm going to show you is our Usborne First 1,000 Words. This also comes in a First 100 Words version that is very similar. This is the Spanish one. This comes in, I want to say, 11 different languages. I think there's Latin, Hebrew, Polish, Russian, German, French, Italian, English, Spanish, Japanese, and they are really great. Each page has a different scene. El hospital, el médico, the hospital. There's los deportes. Oh my gosh, I took Spanish for so long and I can't even remember. Sports, los dias, the days of the week. And then in the inside, it's got, like I said, the scene, la tienda, the store. And the fun thing about these scenes is that they also are able to function as kind of a search and find book, which is fun for kids. So for instance, here's La Piña, and then you can look inside the scene to find La Piña. So everything that's around the edge there is somewhere inside the scene. The other fun thing is that since it's a Stephen Cartwright book, all of his books have a hidden duck on each page, which is just a little extra activity that kids kind of enjoy. So as they're working on each page, they can look for the duck. Here he is on the cover right there. And then on this page I was just at, there he is in the the bin of cans there. So this is our first 1,000 word series, and there are 1,000 different words in here that cover just about everything. And again, there's also the first 100 words in this, which doesn't go into as much detail, doesn't have as many words, etc. And that one I want to say comes in like 5 or 6 languages. Definitely English and Spanish, and I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head, but great books. The next one I'm going to talk about is our Listen and Learn series. Right now, this comes in English, Spanish, and Chinese. And this one is absolutely amazing. It's a very stress-free, low-key way for kids to hear words pronounced, or adults. And it's more of a folder than a book. You open it up and you'll see that there is a pocket on this side where you can slide these cards in. And then on this side, there is a little envelope that has a bunch of different cards in it, and each of these cards are double-sided, so each one has a different vocabulary set. And what you can do is take these cards, slide them into the pocket, and just take it out and slide it right in. You want to make sure that it's tucked in all the way, and then you just press go.
My body.
And you'll hear the name of the card.
Chin.
And then as you press,
hand, tummy, hair, eyes, arm, cheek.
as you press each button, you will hear the word pronounced, and then obviously it has the spelling underneath. So a really, really fantastic book for kids who are learning vocabulary, kids who need extra practice with pronunciation. It's also, my 5-year-old loves it because it helps her with her spelling. She's been practicing spelling different words using this. So, or she'll sound out the word based on the letters in the picture, and then she'll listen to it. So a great book for, again, ESL, kids who need to build their vocabulary for whatever reason. The next one is our very first words book. This is the Spanish version. There's also an English version. This is more of a board book. You can see a little bit thicker pages, smaller book, very lightweight, really easy for toddlers to hold. And in this book, you have really adorable little claymation scenes. And again, just like most vocabulary books, different items are labeled. You have la ropa, you have los animales, and la vaca, la gallina, I think it is when it's a double L. I can't remember. I need to go back to Spanish class, obviously. So each page has a different series of words on it with the English translation. The next one I'm going to look at is our first word book series. These first word books are larger. They are board book-ish pages. They are a little bit thinner, but they're still thicker than just standard paper. This is the first word book about me. There is also first Spanish word book. There's first word book about things that go. There's a bunch of different books in this series. And again, they are just going to have the pictures with the different labels on them, the clothes with each word labeled, each room of the house, the town. So it's a really great book. Again, kids learning to build their vocabulary. Another book that we have is our first word book. This is a lift the flap one. And this one is actually really great because it works a little bit more on teaching you the word and letting you practice recognition of the word. So for instance, if your child is learning to read, they could sound this word out, dog, dog. And then they could lift the flap to see if they were right, and they were. And then down here, they can find the animal and they can say, oh, this is a dog. How do I spell dog? I think it's D-I-G. And then they can lift the flap and say, oh, I was wrong, it's D-O-G. And then they can match the two as well. So it's kind of a self-correcting book in that way. And it's really, really, really great for practicing sight words and spelling and reading. And each page is set up very similarly. Again, there's the little car. You find the car page up here. You flip it down and you see that indeed it is C-A-R. So really, really wonderful book for kids who are first learning to read, for kids who are building vocabulary, and really fantastic for ESL learners. Another thing that we have that is really great for building vocabulary and for, again, the ESL learners is our Wipe Clean books. These books are fantastic because they help with alphabet, numbers, and we have lowercase and capital letters, and you can see it gives them lots of places to practice their letters over and over again. And it's a very, very low stress way of doing it since they can immediately erase any mistake. I will say I love to get Wipe Clean crayons or colored pencils for these instead of the marker that it comes with. You can also get Wipe Clean washable markers that work awesome for these. But we have a ton of these. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of these Wipe Clean books. There's, like I said, numbers, letters, capital letters, lowercase letters. Then we also have a number of first word books that are really, really fun, where they can practice writing different words based on the picture. You can see my 3-year-old was already enjoying this book. So, a great one. Then finally, I'm going to show you some of our books that are great for older kids or adults who either need extra help or are just learning these concepts, or again, are learning these concepts for the first time as an adult. We have an illustrated dictionary and an illustrated thesaurus. I love these books. They have clear, simple to understand definitions for each of the words. You know, when you look something up in a standard dictionary, Webster's dictionary, each entry is incredibly long. It's got tons of information, and a lot of that information is oh my gosh, I feel like I'm having a stroke, superfluous. And people, especially ESL learners or, you know, younger kids, don't need all of that extra information. They just need to know what that word means. So it has very simple explanations for each word, and then many words also have a visual explanation of it too. So for example, comet, a large orbiting piece of rock that travels around the sun and leaves a trail of light behind it. It's a very easy explanation that anybody can understand. So this dictionary is absolutely fantastic for ESL programs or anybody who is needing a easier definition of the word than Webster's might offer. And then the last one I'm going to show you is our illustrated grammar and punctuation book. Once people have their vocabulary down, then generally they start working on grammar and punctuation. And this is a great book for practicing that. It goes over things like, is it whose, W-H-O-S-E, or whose, who apostrophe S? Which word there are you going to use? When do you use commas? And then it also has quizzes to check your knowledge, which is really great. But for example, here is a whole page on pronouns. So whether they're your child who is just learning about different pronouns, or again, you are an older ESL learner, whether an adult or a child, this book is just absolutely amazing for helping build that knowledge and helping learn the different rules of grammar and punctuation. So, like I said, that does not even come close to covering all of the vocabulary books that we have. We have a lot of really great other ones. We've got flashcards, English for Beginner flashcards that are incredibly popular with ASL or ESL learners, and I don't have a copy of those. I'm hoping to get some soon, so I'll be able to share those with you not in the not too distant future, but just a small sampling of some of the books that we have that could be helpful to your group or your child.